awesome Morrigan cosplayer from Dragon Age walk out of the room, so you could say Morrigan disapproves of this pun.
Mine's 15.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. So what we're going to do today, we're going to have a nice little panel. Martin, is there anything you want to say first before we get started with questions and whatnot?
Well, I came up to the table and I found a tub of Vegemite, courtesy of Manifest. And for those of you who don't know, I actually was not force-fed. There's a very funny story behind it, and there's a very funny after-story related to the Vegemite tasting, but I'll tell that if you guys ask me about it later. But for the record, I'm never going to eat this ever again. It is because I'm racist.
Very good to finish that tub by the end of this panel.
I wrote never again on it. There's a lot of Marek cosplayers in here, I'm very happy. Are there any Steves in here? Stand up, Steve. They're all good on the move. Awesome.
It feels great to have so many fans here. People
Yeah.
seeing you and doing the voices and doing the costumes.
It's incredible. I always, in my opinion, it takes way more skill and commitment to do a costume for like an entire weekend. And the costumes here are fantastic. I'm blown away. I get really excited seeing you guys dressed in costume, just the same way I guess you guys get excited to see me. But I mean, I'm overwhelmed by it. It's incredible. I love the Lemming cosplayers. They're awesome. Really? I don't think I've ever seen that before.
That's his job. Anyway, shall we start with questions? What do you reckon?
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys want to ask questions, it's one question per person. We have 2 microphones set up at either side of the stage. If you guys want to come up and line down. Come down and line up.
No, Martin, we're going to get lovely volunteers. They're going to run up. They're going to get lots of exercise today, and they're going to get questions for us.
Lemming.
Want to ask questions, LittleKuriboh? Yes, let's get this person over here first.
Lemming.
What made you choose the name LittleKuriboh?
See, I can never remember the exact answer to that question, and it changes every time. But I honestly, according to my good friend Alpha, it was because the other name that I wanted was already taken. And I wanted to be, it's really sad, this story, but, not sad in a sad way, but I wanted to be a fanfic writer before I became, a video maker. And I don't think there's anything wrong with writing fanfics. I've actually written a number of fanfics during my tenure as a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, but I wanted to be called, it was a pun, Cursive Dragon, like Curse of Dragon, the Yu-Gi-Oh card, which was, yeah. Yeah, I have no right to really criticize 4Kids for their puns anymore, do I? But that was already taken, and so I just went with LittleKuriboh. It was a generic name. It associated itself with Yu-Gi-Oh. People knew what it was from. Although, having said that, I remember going on to Xbox Live to play this was my first experience playing Halo. It was the Halo 3 beta, which I'd gotten because I bought the game. What was the game? Where you jump from building to building.
Mirror's Edge.
Crackdown, that was it. And I was playing the beta, and I was in a multiplayer chat room, and like somebody, I guess they were like 10 or 11, was like, "Well, Kuriboh, does that mean penis?" So I kind of regretted it, and that was like my only foray into the Halo,
Never again.
Gone back.
Just kill him and teabag him afterwards.
Right.
He's LittleKuriboh. Right, let's have a question over here.
Do the characters of the hair guy and the mullet guy actually have real names, or did their parents just call them hair guy and mullet guy when they were born?
Are we talking like legitimately like abridged canon?
In abridged canon.
In abridged canon. I don't think I've ever mentioned Hair Guy's real name in the actual show. No, I haven't. I've always just called, in fact, for a long time I didn't even mention that he was called Hair Guy. It was just a joke for me, because it was in the script, when I wrote his lines, I didn't know his name, so I just wrote Hair Guy, and it just stuck. So, yeah, he doesn't that's his real name, as far as I'm concerned. I think Guy is the surname, and Hair and Mullet are their first names. Yes. Are you cosplaying as Luke, by the way, or is that... Oh, okay. My bad. I'm a big Professor Layton fan.
Yes, let's get a question over this side now.
How many different Abridged series have you worked on with other people in Yu-Gi-Oh?
Oh, it's difficult to put it. At Smash, where I was in Sydney last week, they actually had a long list of all the different series that I'd been in, and I was like, was I in that one? I don't remember being in what was it? It was a not Trigon. It was, I thought it was Helsing they were talking about, but it was some of the vampire related. Trinity Blood, yeah. And I was like, was I in a Trinity Blood Abridged? Maybe, I don't know. I recorded a bunch of random stuff for people, and I don't know, maybe they used my lines and then credited me and I didn't know about it, I don't know. But mostly I work on my stuff. I've been in Naruto Abridged, the one made by Masuko and Vegeta. I've been in Camphor Abridged, done by Masuko. And obviously I play Frieza in Dragon Ball Z Abridged, which I'm very proud of. A very supportive Wookiee over there. I did it all for the Wookiee. But yeah, Frieza I'm very proud of, because they changed who was playing Frieza quite a bit, and they were hesitant to cast me at first because Lani does such a great impersonation of the actual actress who did Frieza. But then they thought, well, let's not just do an impersonation, let's actually create a character with him. And I was very proud to actually get to fill in that character's shoes. And obviously it seems to work, because a lot of people tell me you're the best dubbed Frieza ever, and I'm like, really? Okay. It's pretty crazy. And I have a blast voicing him as well.
Awesome. Let's go on from this side now. Yes?
Just a question, who's your favorite character in the Dragon Ball Z Dragon Ball Z Abridged?
My favorite character in Dragon Ball Z Abridged? I actually am a huge fan of Vegeta, because... Not only because I think Lani plays such an amazing part, but I honestly think that the way they've written that character, and I think it's probably true to the actual show as well, but Vegeta, you kind of feel bad for the guy with everything he has to put up with and all the terrible situations he gets into. And you very rarely get that with an abridged series, let alone an actual series where you actually sympathize with one of the main characters. And I really do feel bad for the guy. I don't feel bad for Goku because he doesn't seem to register anything that happens. But Vegeta seems painfully aware of the idiots that he has to put up with. So I sympathize with the guy.
Fantastic. Over the other side. Back and forth, back and forth.
In Yu-Gi-Oh Abridged, if you had to be one character, which one would it be?
If what, sorry?
In Yu-Gi-Oh Abridged, like in real life, if you had to be one character...
In real life?
Yeah.
Tristan can break necks with his mind. But if I could be any character in Yu-Gi-Oh Abridged, I don't know. What were people shouting over there? I might be Jack Atlas just so that in that way I could be a native Australian and live here. But I think honestly, if I could be, actually, I am kind of like one character in the show, and I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I am very much like Yugi sometimes, in the sense that whenever I'm a jerk to somebody, I kind of can be the Yugi kind of jerk where he's just like, oh, whatever, you know, you're not important. You know, that's me at my worst. That's kind of how I write Yugi. He's kind of me, the worst parts of me. Whereas in the show, the actual Yu-Gi-Oh show, I feel that Yugi is, you know, the best parts of anybody. So it's kind of a complete opposite thing. But if I could be any character, oh, I don't know, Goku probably.
On this side now, is it?
There's a gentleman here.
If I could ask Tristan a question.
Yes! That was your question, right?
No, that wasn't the question.
Okay.
Do we ever catch up, or how's he doing now?
He's dead. he's very dead, but do you miss him? His voice didn't give him super strength. He was, well, how did he die, that guy? He was... There are many different theories as to how he died. It's like the JFK assassination. Back and to the left, back and to the left.
Okay, over to the right, we have... Oh, this. Someone had their hand up, just give it to someone.
Hi.
Hello.
How you doing?
And this we told you one question!
So, I was just wondering, this is a question for Hank Ishtar.
Oh boy! I'm very excited to be in Australia.
I'm just wondering how your snake is doing, and if you've got a replacement.
Can't quite hear that, sorry.
Your snake, how is he? Cornelius.
He's dead! You're asking about all the dead characters. Oh, the new one?
Yeah.
Oh, he has taken to eating my son's pies. We like to call it French kissing. Where you unlock the jaw of the vice, and you bite down very hard on the vice. I lied. That's what a good father does, son. Billy, sit down. What am I, Dr. Phil?
Over here, we have someone from my yes.
Yes, I have a question out of curiosity.
Question for what, sorry?
A question out of my own curiosity.
Oh, sure, sir.
I was wondering, like, how was it surprising the reaction Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series got on the internet, especially like considering it's one of the most popular things on the internet, and also the fact that it spawned several internet memes as well?
Absolutely, it was a surprise. If I knew that it was going to happen, I'd probably be too intimidated to go ahead and do it, because I never thought that I'd be sitting in front of a large crowd like this and, you know, explaining why certain characters died. But it was very intimidating at first, the reaction that people had. It was literally a case of I would go online, I would upload an episode, and I'd be too terrified to see the reaction, because I saw how popular it was getting. And I knew that with something that popular, with that many people talking about it, if you do a bad job, then you're never going to hear the end of it. So it was one of those things where I would literally turn off the computer and just go hide somewhere for a week until I checked what reaction people had. But around, I think, episode 12, where Bandit Keith became a main character, I think I realized that I had a good thing going, you know? And people still love it. It's crazy. It really is. And I'm always very thrilled to see people show up in droves just to hear me talk about the crazy cartoon that I make on the internet. It's awesome.
Over on the right.
So I was wondering, out of, I suppose, the types of videos that you make, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, narrative spoof, that kind of thing, which is the most fun for you as sort of creator to, for like a better word, create?
Which kind of video or which series?
I guess, doesn't necessarily have to be the series, but also like the songs or just the miscellaneous Hey-Ho Kage kind of videos.
I love doing the songs. I really do. And it seems to get on some people's nerves that I keep doing the songs, but they get a huge reaction. I mean, honestly, the main reason that I write comedy is because it gets that huge reaction from people. And the songs, because people are like, oh, I know that song. This is a different version of that song, and it's funny. So I mean, some people say it's lazy to do a song because you don't do quite as much writing, but you still have to focus on doing a good job with the lyrics and everything. So in my opinion, a good parody song is as difficult to make as a good, you know, script for a comedy video, and I get a huge kick out of it because sometimes, like for example, at AVCon 2010, I got to do the Jaden versus Yami rap battle live on stage in front of over 2,000 people, which was quite a thrill. And yeah, but probably the songs, absolutely. The Naruto spoof is a lot of fun though.
You have to get all the context right as well.
Right, and
the character has to fit into the song
Yeah, a lot of people seem to think that a song parody is just a case of changing one noun to a different noun, you know, but I honestly, with Leather Pants, for example, I really tried very hard to make it feel like a completely different, it was telling a completely different story, but still sounding like it fit with the music and everything. So. On a blimp. That was drastically different from I Want a Boat, because you see, instead of being on a boat, they're on a blimp. We're over here now, I think.
Good side.
Joey.
I don't want to be.
Oh no.
Yeah, pretty much. Me and my friends are thinking about starting to make an abridged series. What advice would you have for us?
What advice would I give to somebody doing an abridged series? Is it your first one?
Yeah.
Okay. Number one, do not, and this is just a personal thing. Do not ask me to cameo in the first episode, and that's not because, you know, I don't think you guys deserve it or anything. It's because if you have somebody like a big abridger like cameo in the first episode, it kind of distracts from what you're trying to like establish as your style of humor. People are like, that was great. They had somebody else from something else in your thing, but in my opinion, that's like. It's going to distract from what you're writing. The main thing that I would tell you as far as advice goes is just try and be funny, and try and be funny. Try and make it for other people rather than for yourself. Because I've seen a lot of abridged shows where it's like I don't really know what the hell's going on because it seems like there's a bunch of inside jokes that I don't feel like I'm part of. So really, ultimately, try and write something that that isn't too obscure and that isn't going to exclude a lot of people. That would be my main piece of advice.
Excellent. So over here, up top there.
Hi. I was just wondering about your writing process.
Where are we looking? Sorry. Oh, yes, that's it.
How do you come up with your writing process? Do you just watch the show and think about like a joke would come in here, creating things just off the top of your head, or do you script it out?
It varies. It really does. Usually, I just sit and write for as long as I can. And then when I can't write, and when I get writer's block, which I hate, I just go lie down or I go for a walk or something like that, and something will eventually come to me. Some scripts just sit there for example, I did a parody of the first Naruto movie recently, and that script went through about 5 different drafts that were all drastically different, and really the important thing to do is to just find a key theme to run with, and then just have as many of the jokes revolve around that. For example, in the Naruto spoof movie that I did, it was about the film industry. So I made a bunch of jokes about directors and movie making and everything, and just it got a bit crazy, but I didn't have to stray too far from that theme to think of a joke to make. And actually, I've changed the writing style very recently for a lot of the videos that I do, because I used to just watch the episode and then write a script based on what I remembered, whereas now I'll do that, but then while I'm editing, I'll see a piece of footage and I'll completely change what I'm doing based on what I'm looking at rather than what I'm remembering that I saw, because sometimes seeing something and remembering it are 2 completely different things, because your memory can change things in your head. So it's all off the cuff right now at the moment. It's completely, I wing it basically. It's not very professional. I don't know if you've noticed.
Another question over here.
Evening.
Good evening.
So yeah, we brought the whipped cream for later. Would you like
what?
some?
Whipped cream and wait. Oh, for snacks. You bought the whipped cream for later.
Everyone keeps on bringing up little in-jokes. You have to remember all the in-jokes you've made for the entire series.
There's a Wikipedia for them.
It's down
in the front.
Go past.
Hey.
With how popular you've gotten and how well people know you now, have you ever considered locking down your live journal?
I do consider it, and I've been told several times by lots of people, you should probably lock down your live journal, because I've had some incidents where people have seen stuff in my live journal and it's gone kind of sour as a result, because I try and keep the live journal very personal and I try not to, mince words on there. But it's unfortunate that some people would take personal information and use it, in a negative way. But honestly, at the end of the day, I kind of feel like if I lock away that part of myself, then it almost feels like I'm ashamed of it. And I don't want to, you know, I don't think anybody should be ashamed of, you know, how they feel or what they think, you know, stuff that's important, as opposed to like goofy internet memes that I can post anywhere I want. I honestly think that, you know, if you feel passionately about something, there's no reason that you should feel the need to hide that, you know. My friend Scott Kaiser-Neko from Team 4-Star was asked recently, does it make you wonder sometimes if it's worth doing what you do when you have to deal with all these trolls? And ultimately, I think what he said was, it's not a question of, you know, how important it is that you're not being trolled, rather than how important it is that you do something positive that, you know, I mean, the trolls are just a vocal minority at the end of the day. You know, so you don't, in my opinion, you shouldn't let a really, really, really small audience like that affect, you know, the grand scheme of things. I think we're over here.
What's your opinion on Team 4-Star?
My opinion on Team 4-Star is that I'm technically part of Team 4-Star. I mean, I know I'm... Sorry, go on.
Ask you about Team 4-Star and see what happens.
Oh, that's alright. I actually used to make a lot of videos where I was like, Team 4-Star, those guys, they're terrible. But I mean, I do that a lot with a lot of people that I'm close friends with. Like, basically, it's gentle ribbing, really. I mean, like, I did a rap video where Yugi was like, it was the Without Yugi video where it was like, I actually highlighted somebody's channel where I was like, it was Darjaxter N who did a Yu-Gi-Oh Season 0 abridged long before I did one. And I had Yugi say, don't copy me. And a lot of people went to their channel and were like, you shouldn't copy LittleKuriboh, he totally owned you. And I had to step in and be like, wait guys, it was a joke. This person's my friend. And unfortunately, you know, I mean, I like to think that people can tell when I'm joking and when I'm not. Because usually I don't make a comedy video when I'm serious about something. But I mean, for example, a lot of people take a lot of the jokes that I make very seriously. Like, for example, I had Yami insult the Nintendo. No, I had Kaiba insult the Nintendo Wii in one episode, and I had so much hate mail for insulting the Nintendo Wii, and I was like, huh? It's true. You do insult everything, Kaiba. And at the end of the day, I'm not the character, you know. So that's my logic to the whole thing. But Team 4-Star are some of the best people I've ever met. That's my genuine opinion of them. They, in my opinion, their series is like the evolution of abridging. Whereas I like to consider myself, if you guys have seen, I don't know how popular it was over here, but there was an all-adult swim show called Space Ghost Coast to Coast. I like to consider myself the Space Ghost Coast to Coast to their Venture Brothers. Because I don't know if you guys have seen Venture Brothers. But in my opinion, Venture Brothers is like the crown jewel of Adult Swim. It's kind of like that's the peak of what they've accomplished so far. So Team 4-Star, I like to compare them to the Venture Brothers, the way they write things. Okay, are we which way? Oh, gold pass members. Huh? Oh, I already answered the. Am I jelly? Oh, leather. I already signed those last year. I can sign them again. I don't have a silver Sharpie though.
I'm up here instead.
Huh? Oh, wait.
Come on.
How did you come up with Brooklyn Rage?
That's an interesting. Well, it's not an interesting story, but it's a very. I like to answer that question because, interestingly enough, it's one of my most viewed videos, but it's also one of the ones I put the least effort into.
That's often true.
Because I mean, I was singing Poker Face one night, and then I just went into character and was like, can't beat mine, and then I realized, wait, Brooklyn Rage, Poker Face. This has to happen. And 12 hours later, the video was made. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the video that goes with it, but it's a pretty basic series of clips that happened in like 3 episodes, so they were really easy to find and edit. And the song itself just sort of flowed really easily. So it was a lightning bolt that came out of nowhere, and I was just like, this is funny, I'll do it. And then everybody else was like, this is funny, I'll watch it. And now Wayne Grayson, the actual voice actor of Joey, actually says that at conventions now, and it's very strange.
Over there.
I have a question for David Bowie Sensei.
David, I'm not David Bowie. Where am I? Oh, down.
Over here.
Hello.
How many times have you been falsely assassinated?
Well, my career died in the 70s. If you believe that I'm David Bowie. Funnily enough, I want to cosplay again because I was Naruto last year at Manifest, which was a blast. But my fiance is very insistent that I don't shave my beard. So I want to do something where I can actually keep the beard but also cosplay. Thor! I want to keep it within the stuff that I've done. So I think Kakashi with the mask. Did somebody say Jesus? Which British series was here? Bandit Keith. Oh yeah, he does have a bit of stubble going on, doesn't he? That's a good one. And I do like doing that voice. Where are we next? Oh. If I can find a costume, I will absolutely go ahead and do it. I only have a month to do it though.
Right, let's go over here. Over here, somewhere.
Yes.
Can you tell us the Vegemite story? I thought someone would ask it by now, but they haven't.
What was that, sorry?
The Vegemite story?
The Vegemite story.
Like, you were talking about Vegemite before.
Alright, this could get me into trouble because it got me into trouble last time I told this story. But somebody at Manifest last year came up to me during one of the Q&As and said, has anybody given you Vegemite yet? And I said, Vegemite? No. I know Marmite that we have in England, but no, nobody's given me Vegemite. And they said, if I get you some later, will you try it? And I was like, absolutely. And that was my first mistake. Then I had an autograph signing soon after that, and they queued up in the line with Vegemite, and they got to the front of the line and they came to me and they said, okay, are you ready to try Vegemite? I said, alright, I only live once. And then they got a huge spoon. And they filled it with Vegemite. And this is the part that got me into trouble last time. And I don't know, we'll see how it goes. But they did the whole thing where like the aeroplane thing with the spoon. But what they said was, here comes the terrorist bomber to fly into the World Trade Center. And the reason it got me into trouble last time was because the specific date that I told this story. And I didn't realize, and I was doing all the motions, and somebody was like, today? And I just took a step back. I was like, oh my god.
Where were you saying this to?
It was at a British convention called AVCon. It wasn't America.
It was one stage in America.
But then I tried the Vegemite. It didn't go very well. It's almost, there is a video online of me sort of. I was in Naruto costume and I had a fake cigarette, and somebody asked, how did that taste? And I held up the cigarette and said, this tastes a lot better. That was basically the two stories that go with the Vegemite tasting. I think we have time for a few more questions.
Yes, we do. This side somewhere.
Up there?
Hi, are you planning on continuing the Crapshow Monsters miniseries?
I do get asked this a lot, and I do intend to continue the Crapshow Monsters miniseries because I was a big fan of the first episode, and then I did the second episode, and I wasn't quite as thrilled with it, but a lot of people seem to still like the idea of the show, so I do want to continue it at some point, but I want to do it when I feel like I have the time and I feel like it's right. I did want to do it on April Fool's. I wanted to do another few episodes, and the April Fool's joke I was originally going to go with it was I was going to release a video saying no videos for April Fool's this time, and then I was going to release 3 new Crapshow Monsters videos, but that didn't end up happening, unfortunately. Maybe next year, hopefully.